Hey sports fans, this is Lily King. Make sure you tune into Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Today's guest is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville with hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer. Pizza, burgers, beer. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Hey, welcome back to the Golf Club Eagle Point Studios, Indiana Sports Beat. Happy to have newly inducted Illinois Hall of Fame member, Sports Hall of Fame, Lance Stemler, former Hoosier. Lance, how are you, brother?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Awesome. Great to have you on. A great day. We had Tom Coverdale on earlier. He was the part of the last Mr. Basketball duo to come to Indiana. Luke Recker in 97 and Tom Coverdale in 98. And then, of course, Indiana does it again with Romeo Langford last year and now with Trace Jackson Davis. And now we have great Lance Stemler, who was inducted in the Illinois Sports Hall of Fame. That had to be or the Illinois Basketball Coaches Association Hall of Fame, but that had to be a cool honor for you, man.
It was humbling and eye-opening, and there's to be included in the list that was going in and that has been in is just, it's a cool thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm having internet problems today, so I don't have that list, but I'm thinking there's got to be guys in there by the name maybe Isaiah Thomas. Is he in there?
Yeah, I can't say 100%, but I can only imagine that he's already in.
Yeah, I would think so, but yeah, that's a long list of great athletes, man. That's incredible. Congratulations, first of all.
I appreciate it. The one that jumped off the page this year that went in was Jackie Joyner-Kersee.
Oh, wow.
Who her as a track star and an Olympian, but she was a heck of a basketball player from East St. Louis and still holds a bunch of basketball records at UCLA.
Yeah, that's just Illinois has a long list. You've got Chicago, of course, the Chicago area. So a long list of outstanding athletes. And, man, congratulations. That's just an honor no matter what. But that's not some county Hall of Fame. We're talking about the Illinois Coaches Hall of Fame. It's a big deal. And it was great having you when you were in Indiana, too. I mean, it was very fortunate that Indiana got you instead of the Illini. But it had to be cool going back home like that and being recognized by where you're from. I mean, I can't think of a greater honor.
No, it really was. And to be recognized with your peers and in your home state, it's really cool. With that said, I will say that basketball is on a different level in the state of Indiana. So, but with Chicago and with so many great players, I will say I was the only one this year that had Indiana across my chest.
That's awesome. And I know that you said you were humbled by it, but I mean, it's obviously a well-deserving honor. But I know you're a big-time sports fan too. So you mentioned Jackie Joyner-Kersee. I mean, what is that like to go into a Hall of Fame with Jackie Joyner-Kersee? It's just got to be mind-numbing.
Yeah, it is. And obviously growing up where I grew up, not too far from East St. Louis, she's obviously a big name, and watching her in the Olympics, and that was probably the coolest one. And not honestly, when I found out, I didn't even know she was a big basketball player until I started asking people around and how really good of an athlete she was. And then some of the guys that around my age, like John Shire, who's been successful, obviously in high school and college, and winning national championship, and now coaching on the Duke staff. He went in, and some former NBA players. So it was really cool. It was a cool event.
Well, congratulations again. That's just an awesome honor. I guess you had the kids there?
My family came in, my brother and my sister and my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, but we kept the kids it was about a 3-hour reception, so we kept the kids at the hotel with the babysitter.
Probably a smart move, man. Well, it is recruiting time. It is recruiting time, and a big decision looming for Indiana. A kid named Lester Quinones, who's a great shooter, coming down between Indiana and Memphis from last reports from his own mouth. So that could be a big roster addition if they can land him. He's not. I mean, most people see him going to Memphis, but they've been picking up a lot of guys. As a player, when the team that's let's say it's a favorite that you think you're going to pick or you think you're going to go, when they keep adding guys and potentially adding guys in a position you play, how much of a factor does that play in to your final decision?
I think it has to weigh in on your final decision. As far as one of the things you look at is what's my opportunity there and how quick is my opportunity. And that's all you really want is a real opportunity. And when somebody's loading up at your position and in your class, it's got to make you think twice. So, I mean, ideally in your mind, you have a mindset of, I'm going to go earn my playing time. But when the cupboard is overflowing, it should weigh in your decision of kind of where's my opportunity really going to be at.
Yeah, and there's a lot of talk because LSU is still on the list of not only Quinones, although he said that Indiana and Memphis were where he was leaning. LSU's still on the list. You got Trenton Watford. LSU keeps popping up all over the place. And I find that I used the word disgusting on a tweet last week, and I find it appalling that they are still potentially landing people with what is going on there. I mean, this is a school that has a coach who was caught on FBI wiretaps doing nefarious things. And the thinking of kids changed so much now that they just don't care about that stuff. The potential, because there's got to be a potential investigation coming there, but yet these kids are still considering going to LSU. I just, in my mind, I can't see how that's possible, but maybe I've got that get off my lawn mentality that's not jiving with it. But man, it just blows my mind.
That one is kind of mind-boggling because as far as being a kid and you would hope you would be going to college and wanting to play in the tournament and not just use college for exposure and you actually want to be there, want to go to class, want to do things. And knowing or just looking back at Louisville and what's happened to them, some of the things, and you can't help but think they're going to come in with the evidence that they have. They're going to come in and hit LSU hard. With that, it's hard to say what's in the mindset of a kid and who's around them and who's pushing what. Obviously, as we've learned the last 3 to 4 years with Nike and Adidas and the shoe and just things in general in college basketball are a lot different now than they were 10 years ago.
Yeah, and I mentioned the fact that I said, in my tweet, I said, where's this kid's parents? I mean, I don't understand, and I'm not talking about anybody in particular. I'm not disparaging them, but I don't understand how parents could allow their child to go to a school like that with what's going on there. I mean, they've got to step in. I know there's handlers and AAU people involved. There's so many people getting hands on the shoulders of these kids. But at the end of the day, man, I'm like, dude, where's the parents just saying, no, this is not good for you. We're not going to do that.
Yeah. And that's a tough one. It's who are they really listening to and who has the ears of even the parents. And I mean, are they feeding them a dream and a this and that, or is something else going? You just don't know. So I'm hoping as a fan now, and kind of just that some of it gets cleaned up now that things have been exposed. I would hope that it gets cleaned up, and kind of college basketball can turn that corner and lose that kind of bad feel that people have had the last couple of years.
Yeah, I kind of joked with Todd Leary on the show Friday, and I'll do the same with you. I mean, did you get that $10,000 a month that DeAndre Ayton got?
I wish, brother.
But isn't that mind-boggling, though? I mean, that stuff goes on, but we've heard about it all the time. But we're talking some big money now, man. $10,000 a
No,
month. That's more than walking
that
around change.
yeah, that's some serious. And the problem is, wherever the money's at is usually where the corruption starts or is happening, right? I mean, and college basketball has turned into $1 billion industry, uh, and there's just too much money involved for these shoe companies to get their hooks in to programs and the student athletes. I mean, you could see it when Zion blows out his shoe on national TV, and the stock drops $1 billion the next day. It's just there's too much money involved, and I mean, $10,000 a month, it is a lot of money, but to these who's shoe companies and schools making the amount of money they're making, it's a drop in a hat for them. So it's time for me. It's time to get it cleaned up.
Lance, we seem to have dropped Jim off. Uh, in regards to how much money is being made, do you think there's any solution to that problem that the NCAA or even federally that can be done to help alleviate that?
I've heard a lot of ideas and thoughts, and it's just that's a tough one. That's a tough. How much can you get the shoe companies out of the schools, because they do pump money back into the non-revenue producing sports and to the schools and but then they get their hooks in at the AAU level and let's be honest, even now, I really believe that it's a very few number of kids each year. Now people talk about it like it's happening widespread. Everyone's getting something, but it's really, I mean, I can't say for sure, but a few kids each year. So could the one and done rule help with that? Maybe. Should kids, for what if they're going to college, should they make some money off their likeness? Possibly. I just think once you start paying them, or once you start, I haven't seen anyone propose anything that I think might actually work without. I mean, someone always trying to cut a corner, someone trying to fix this and that. So I really don't know how you do it, but the game needs to be cleaned up, or the recruiting aspect needs to be cleaned up. So hopefully it's a start.
Difficult do you think that's going to be, Lance, to actually do that? Because first of all, you've got to turn to the NCAA, who has shown they can't clean up a closet, basically, much less clean up a scandal like this. They're as much a problem because of the apathy that has come along, that they didn't do anything, that they kept their head in the sand. But now they've got this major deal that is erupted around them, and you got the FBI doing their job for them. But that's been the case. It's always been somebody else having to do it for anything to get done successfully via the NCAA.
Correct. And yeah, the FBI basically had to do it for them. And had the FBI not done it, who knows how long it would have gone and how bad it could have gotten. But once again, they're raking in money. I mean, the NCAA was in place to figure out the amateurism and keep the amateurism in college sports. Well, when you have football and basketball producing the amount of money that they're producing, things have changed, and things have changed the last 10 years, let alone going back 30 to 40. I mean, it's a different time. So to me, rules have to change. Things have to change along with it. So, I mean, I don't know that there's a quick fix, but I think now that things have been exposed, it was always something people always joked about, like kind of knowing a little bit here and there, but this whole FBI investigation exposed it. And hopefully from here, they take steps and not just let people forget about it and kind of just keep going on with what they're doing.
Yeah, it used to be known as the $100 handshake, but $100, that's nothing compared to what's being exchanged now. And all the talk is about basketball, college basketball. There's no way this is not filtered down into football, you would think, with some of these major big-time programs that are just successful year in, year out. I haven't seen a lot of talk about that, and it's a different animal, but I would sure think that if they thought they could manipulate the basketball side, that why would they not carry that over to football?
Yeah, and there's no doubt in my mind that it happens in football. You have the Reggie Bush stuff that happened and different things that have happened throughout the years, but nothing to the widespread as far as going in the entire kind of system like it has the last couple of years with basketball. And honestly, to me, it's the shoe companies being involved and the AAU programs, and basketball recruiting is a little more sexy than football recruiting, right? I mean, that's just how things are. And I mean, I don't follow college football like I do basketball, but I feel like college basketball is promoted. The recruiting aspect of it is promoted a little bit more than football, and the kids are more well known.
Yeah, plus you've got instant TV. You see them wearing the shoes and all that stuff. And it brings this – you've got all this stuff going on with Adidas and Kansas that's been implicated in things. And yet just, what was it, a week or two ago, they re-signed with Adidas for like $196 million. Is that not just a slap in the face to everybody else while this is going on, while Adidas is being accused of helping Kansas get players, and that implication is going on, and then they turn around and sign a contract like that? I just think that is more problem, and now to me that's a school becoming a part of the problem.
Yeah, and who's running? You start questioning which side's running the ship or steering the ship. Is Adidas steering Kansas, or at this point, because of the money that they're pumping in, or does Kansas really have a say? And do they just turn a blind eye as the shoe companies push their biggest programs and try to push these kids to the biggest programs? And then at what fault is the program itself or the coach or this or that? Because at a certain point, they don't even need to be involved if the shoe company's doing the deals for them. And it's something that needs to be cleaned up, and hopefully will. But yeah, like you said, the whole thing just kind of, it's mind boggling to me as I watched my senior year phone call issues happen. And a coach gets fired mid-season, and some of these guys are on wiretap still coaching.
That, again, blows your mind. Not only still coaching and people still heading in their direction.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Lance Stemler, I can't thank you enough. We appreciate it. Lance Stemler, former Hoosier, just recently inducted over the weekend into the Illinois Coaches Hall of Fame. Congratulations again, brother. We thank you as always. Look forward to having you on again soon.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you, sir. Lance Stemler. Hey, thanks for listening to the rebroadcast from today's edition of Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle, the only daily show dedicated to Indiana University athletics. You can catch us live each weekday on IndianaSportsBeat.com, TheDailyHoosier.com, GruelingTruth.com, or go to Spreaker.com for live notifications. Yeah, that's Speaker with an R, SPREAKER.com. You can also catch the entire show any place you listen to a podcast, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Play, etc. You can find and follow the show on Facebook or follow me on Twitter at Jim Coyle ISB for complete coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers. Thanks again. I hope you have a great day. I'm Jim Coyle, and I will see you on the radio.